the Lightning did play the Sirens, obviously, on the weekend, and the Sirens went in there. They basically had to win out GG to make the finals. They couldn't get it done, unfortunately. It's been a tough season, but we do know everything that's going on with the Sirens, the turnover of players, the departures, the retirements, all those sorts of things. They're rebuilding. We had mentioned it on the coverage, and Graham Hydes mentioned it too when he'd been on this weekly wraparound that I think he said he tipped them to be a dynasty in about 5 years' time, something like that. Despite the results this season, only the one win sitting down the bottom, I still think there's a lot to like about the roster and players in the roster and where they're heading.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about the impact of missing Sarah Edney this weekend. The entire forward group of the Sirens entering this weekend, not named Sarah Edney, had scored a combined 16 goals. And Sarah Edney had scored entering this weekend 16 goals. So she was definitely, she is a huge part of that Sirens team. Just her shot is elite. So missing her is tough. But there were some good performances from some of the younger players. I know you're a big fan of Gabby Arps, Doogie. What do you see from a player like Gabby Arps?
So we can just segue into that topic, GG.
Smooth.
I'm really impressed with Gabby Arps every single time I watch the Sirens play, and I think it's a really talented defender that the Sirens have there. And I did mention it on the commentary that I think when the Sirens turn this around and they become very competitive again and start winning games and start pushing up to finals and things like that, I think Gabby Arps will be a very, very much a focal point of that team. Someone that you can sort of build a team around on the blue line. Played all 12 games this season, hardly in the penalty box for the Sirens, but positional play, and you see it a lot. You've seen it on the weekend as well, just able to either get a body in there and stop an offensive rush from the opposition, get a stick in there, take the puck away. But even the work behind the net that I see from Gabby Arps is she'll collect the puck behind the net, doesn't panic, and will just sort of shift to either one side or the other and swivel, I suppose, the hips and the body and send a player one way and she'll go the other way and clear the puck along the boards or just sort of skate it out. I think Gabby Arps is really impressive, and we've seen, I suppose, what people see from Gabby Arps in terms of national team selection.
Yeah, so she'll be going to representing the Australian senior women's team with Lily Roberts as well from the Sydney Sirens. But yeah, her ability to use her size is impressive, and she can she was breaking up the cycles in behind the net on the weekend, and has been doing that all season. So yeah, I agree. A player with a lot of potential, and you look at that group. Hannah Cryan, she's only 14, 15. Hannah Cryan. You forget that sometimes she's done so much for represented Australia at the Olympics and also for the under-18 women's team. They've got a great young core group of players, and Lily Roberts, like the shot that she has, to add that, coming from the blue line and to see that for another 5-10 years is going to be great. And Remy Harvey, she hasn't retired, so if she comes back to this Sirens group, Fiona Moon has been out injured. You add that experience to this team, and there's big improvements.
Yeah, I agree. And just before we move on from Arps and we talk about the future of the Sirens, we don't obviously have shift times and things like that at hand with the AW when you're looking at, but it seems like Gabby Arps is out there for every other shift as well. So puts in big minutes, I think, for the Sirens. I don't know if you feel the same way, GG, but she feels like when we're calling that Gabby Arps is, every other shift is out there on the blue line.
Yeah, Arps, Winder, Roberts, those are the names that you call a lot. from the blue line for the Sirens for sure.
But I totally agree about the Sirens' future as well. You mentioned Roberts and Hannah Cryan. I thought Hannah Cryan had a good return as well. When you've come in as well without Sarah Edney, and we'd spoken about the lack of Edney, just being able to drive offense through the neutral zone with her stick handling, puck handling, and things like that to take the blue line and get into the offensive zone. The Sirens are outshot 44-14 on Saturday, and I think they just struggled to generate offense. But I felt like Hannah Cryan did a really good job of trying to get into the right spots and trying to carry the puck and just trying to create with her hands or with her vision. So I think it was a good return for Hannah Cryan on the weekend. We do have that Lily Roberts goal. This one, I think, GG, is the correct file. I hope.
Oh, mate, I had to be right for one of them. And now Roberts countering. Has Bikini with her, skating to the right circle. Shot and a goal! A beautiful goal by Lily Roberts.
Just a nice skate, a nice finish. I think it went top shelf above the left shoulder of Katie Meyer. Really good finish from the angle. And it was a highlight, I suppose, of not many sort of highlights coming out of the weekend for the Sirens in terms of scoring and things like that. But that goal from Lily Roberts is something that they can look forward to for a lot of years.
Yeah, I think so. Lily Roberts, she's already scored. She scored kind of 3 goals so far, at least. I know she scored 4 this season, but mentally, I can remember 3 goals from that right side, usually from a bit further deep. I think she scored one against Adelaide in Sydney, like an absolute bomb from the top of the circle. So she's got a heck of a shot on her. So yeah, definitely a bright part of the Sirens blue line, yeah. But another player
and you throw in play.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, go on, mate. No, go.
No, I was just going to say another player that had put herself into position for some chances and was a bit unlucky with the finishing was Ava Pickering as well for the Sydney Sirens. So 1 or 2 of those go in, yeah, but well, it could change the complexity of or complexion, rather of the game. But you saw even on that goal by Roberts, she was forced to the outside, needed a perfect shot to be able to score, came up with it to her credit, but that was all that the Lightning were giving away that game.
And I think you're seeing good signs as well from players like Nikita Horvat as well. Every week. Not so much, I suppose, scoring goals, but did score against the Inferno. But just getting in the right spots and sort of working hard, getting in behind the net on the forward check and things like that. Going into the abyss, GG, along the boards and working hard. So it does look exciting for the Sirens, I think, despite the really tough year in terms of wins and things like that. I think there is a lot to like about a lot of the young players that are coming through at the Sirens.
Yeah, I think so, and I think head coach Gabriel Blado and the staff, Annalise Quisler is an assistant manager there that I know Gabe has mentioned a lot about. The coaching staff there are recognizing that this is a young group and rebuilding and that they're building for the future. So yeah, I think that's the view that the people need to have, that there is going to be a little bit of pain, but there's certainly a bright future there. Fletcher Marshall was agreeing with your assessment of Gabby Arp, Stuggy.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and it's not just exciting for the Sirens. It's exciting to watch for the national team to see these players come into the system. And I think if you're a Sirens fan, GG, I think if you've been dominant for a decade and you're coming off a championship as well, I think if you're having a couple of sort of rebuild years and then you're back up with the talent that's coming through, I think you're pretty happy. I think you'd be happy to sort of sit back and go, okay, we're having a bit of a rebuild here. In a few years' time, we'll be back up there into the finals.
I'm not going to tell Sirens fans how to feel. I'll let you do that, mate.
The Sirens, though, they will finish off their season, even though they cannot make the Australian Women's Ice Hockey League finals series, they play back-to-back home series to see out the season. This coming weekend, they'll play the Brisbane Lightning, and then the following weekend, they will play the Perth Inferno. So despite not being able to make the finals now, they will play a major role in how the top four is actually shaped come finals time when they play the Lightning and the Inferno. And I mentioned it on the coverage at the end. I think teams like that sort of stuff as well. If they can sort of shape how the top four, that'll be sort of motivation enough, I think, going into the final couple of weekends.
Yeah, probably. They can certainly change things around, both with the points that they give and the points that they take away, right? So, whether Brisbane Lightning are able to get a top 2 berth, or the Perth Inferno are able to get a top 2 berth, that's things they can influence. I think that's one thing I would be interested in, that I think that they would have needed to do to have a second goaltender qualified for finals anyway, is seeing what they have in their other goaltenders. Ella Lakari has definitely been the goaltender so far this season that has put them in the best position to be able to win games. But I think you need to start Emma Moonen, Naoka Wellard. You need to see what you have in those goaltenders, and give them some action against teams that will be hungry for wins. So that's what I'm looking forward to for the season. Seeing the growth of the team, and the objectives, I guess, that the coaching staff set. It's not all about the scoreboard. It's the small victories that you can take from games. Can you allow less than 25 shots in a game? Can you win a period? Can you, like, just the basic stuff?
And I think it's definitely not going to be easy, as you said. The Lightning and the Inferno, they'll be primed to climb the standing as high as they can. But I think, as we've seen from the Sirens all season, they're not going to make it easy for them at all coming onto their home ice. They'll want to finish the season strong, the Sirens.